Hello, HighSpeedFanatics. We figured before we did Season 2 we were going to upload a question and answers video, so we didn't leave all your questions hanging in midair. We try to answer them in the comments, but sometimes not everybody sees those, so we basically compiled a list of 15 questions, 5 to me, 5 to her, and 5 to just both of us in general. So, should we start with my questions first?
Yeah.
Since you have the laptop. Alright, what is question 1?
What high-speed camera do you use?
Good question. I gotta grab it. We use the Phantom Miro 3 high-speed camera. It's made by a company called Vision Research. You can take a look at their stuff on visionresearch.com. It's a little compact, little brick. Basically, it's one of their cheaper end cameras, but it's still very, very, very good quality. It's not like super high definition or anything like that, but it definitely gets the job done. It was originally meant for crash testing, but not anymore. So yeah, Phantom Miro 3.
Question 2. What HD camera do you use?
I use the Canon 60D, which is what's filming this right now. I have attached to it a Rode shotgun microphone, but yeah, it's a very good camera.
Question 3. What software do you use to edit the videos?
Sony Vegas Pro. It's not the most elaborate software out there, but it's definitely fairly advanced. I think the way it's laid out is very intuitive, easy to learn, and you can do some advanced features and effects on it. So really, I thought it was the perfect decision.
Alright, question 4. Are you considering the Edgertronic camera?
I've been watching the Edgertronic camera ever since it was in development. I think it's a very, very good camera that has broken through into the lower than professional level, because now a lot of people who don't have tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars can now buy a high-speed camera capable of, I believe, 18,000 frames per second. And it can record 720p, but yeah, it's a very good camera. I guess it would kind of be a good camera for HighSpeedFanatics, but we're really trying to gather funds for even higher level cameras, because we want to gain access to even higher frame rates, because sometimes I feel like there's a clip where I could have shown you it much slower to show some more detail, but we were restricted by this little guy here who just was not quite capable to get that much detail that I wanted. So eventually we're hopefully going to get not only higher quality cameras, but faster cameras.
Okay, and question 5. What do you do outside of HighSpeedFanatics?
Nothing. It's pretty much my life. No. Well, I'm a senior right now in high school, so I obviously have school going on. But I also do a partial day job at a company known as PayPro Media, and we film advertisements, and I'm one of the assistants for editing. So it's a job I like to do because I obviously like to film. I also, as another side job / hobby, I make music videos. And I think right now I probably have 4 or 5 done. I'm just now getting into the business, but I do a lot of filming. Oh, my turn?
Oh no.
Alright, now we've got 5 questions for Grace.
Oh no.
Okay. This first one, and I wonder this too. Why don't you talk as much as Bryce?
Do you want to explain this one?
See what you did there? No. Why don't you?
It's not that I'm like camera shy or anything. It's because I really don't want to say anything wrong. And
are you talking about the second part where we're explaining stuff?
Yeah, when we're sitting in front of the TV and going back through the clips. Bryce knows more about what we're doing, so I just let him speak.
I think one time you told me you like the way I explain it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose why. Sometimes I have to make her talk.
He does. He'll stop the camera and be like, no, you're gonna say this.
Because I think of her as more than just an assistant. Sometimes she has to be in the videos. Okay. This is a history question. How did you and Bryce come up with the idea for HighSpeedFanatics?
Of course, I'm going to ask you this again. How did we come up with this? I think it was more of your idea, because you were more into the filming.
Well, yeah, I guess originally it was, my idea that I came up with. I feel weird answering your question now, but
Whisper it to me and I'll say it.
I'll just explain it. It took us about a year, almost exactly, to fully develop and organize what we wanted HighSpeedFanatics to be, because ever since I was young, probably about 14, seeing slow motion in action movies, seeing it on like TV shows like Mythbusters, things like that, I was just like, I want to make a show where we just do stuff in slow motion. And I had that an idea in my mind since I was like 13 or 14, and it wasn't till now that I finally managed to get my hands on like a decently professional high-speed camera so I could do this stuff. And then we started designing logos. We actually have like papers where we drew out the logo, how we wanted it to look, and then I animated the logo. We started figuring out how many episodes we wanted per season, just a lot of like development, and that started at the beginning of January in 2013. And then HighSpeedFanatics started January of 2014. So there's, I guess, two answers right there. It took us about a year to do it, and how we did it was pretty much my original love for high-speed slow motion.
And not just that, you love physics too.
Right.
You like explaining it.
And
teaching
so that's
people.
why I added the second part of explanations. If people want to know why stuff happens, then I do my best to explain sort of the physics behind it. Another good question here. Why does Bryce say trigger so much? Trigger. 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 And trigger. 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 Why do I say trigger?
Well, when we're recording the slow motion shots, they have to...
With this guy.
Yeah, they only have like so much time that you can record, and sometimes it's better to wait until after we actually like break something to press the record button so it actually goes back and records.
Yeah.
Like before I press the button.
Yeah, I guess the technical answer for it would be there are pre-trigger and post-trigger frames. And you see this a lot in high-speed cameras because sometimes there's an event where you have to wait for it to happen, like a firecracker going off, or maybe a Coke and Mentos bottle. Maybe we were trying to make it explode or something. And if you don't know when something's going to happen exactly, you can set a lot of pre-trigger frames. And so what happens is you wait, and once it goes off, you hit trigger. Or if I'm not at the trigger, I'll tell Grace to trigger it. So you hear me say trigger whenever something happens, so I make sure we get the shot. And it's basically, since the high-speed camera records so many hundreds, thousands of frames every second, it only has a little bit of time to get that data before the internal RAM fills up and it can't film anymore. So basically, it's me taking the precaution to make sure we get the shot, and you'll hear me in every episode say trigger at some point. Geography question. Where are the HighSpeedFanatic videos filmed at?
The majority of them are actually filmed in my backyard.
Right over there.
Yeah.
We've had a couple in other locations too.
Yeah, and the second half of it is actually filmed in this room.
Yep, right behind the camera. If you turn the camera around, you'll see the TV and the wall and everything.
Which is my bedroom, obviously.
Yep. So I'd say 90-95% of everything you see in HighSpeedFanatics is filmed within this property. 5. Are you and Bryce dating? Are we dating?
I think there's actually a clip in one of the videos.
Yeah, I mean, if you paid attention in one episode, I kind of said it. It was viewer request 1 when you slapped me in the face, and I said, "This is why you don't disrespect your girlfriend. You get slapped." So yeah, that was sort of your clue. As yes.
Yes, we are dating.
We are dating. You say that like you don't. You don't mean it.
Yeah, we're dating.
Yeah, we
I
are.
like it. It's
Totally.
good.
Okay, so now we have questions directed at both of us. Do you want to? Yeah, she wants to read. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Number 1. What is your favorite episode?
What is your favorite episode?
Mine? I like Coke and Mentos, and...
Episode 2?
Yep. Mainly because it was really fun, despite that I almost got hit in the face with a bottle.
Minus the dangerous part.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that, like...
Was it because you got to drink the soda? Tell the truth.
Okay, there was a lot of things, and one of them was also, I love the shot of the 4 bottles in a row.
That was...
I like the colors. I love colors, and a lot of ours are just green and brown, like nature, but I like those colors. pretty shot.
That's definitely up in my list of favorite just clips.
Yeah.
The 4 bottles right there.
The AT&T bar.
Okay, my favorite episode, I think, would be Mousetrap. And I know it probably wasn't the most exciting episode, but I think that was a very revealing, scientifically revealing episode. Because a mousetrap is something that, no matter how you look at it with your eye, you just don't really understand exactly. I mean, you understand how it happens, but you don't really see how it happens. And seeing the mousetrap actually close and like crush something, especially the light bulb, seeing the fractures go through it, watch the filament go out, and then that one clip where it actually grabbed onto the filament and stretched it out. There were just so many aspects of that episode that I just really liked. So I mean, I don't really have like a concise explanation, but that's pretty much it. I'll ask this one.
Fine.
In your opinion, what was the most difficult episode to do/film?
What was yours?
I would say Fire. The Fire episode. When we were in her garage with the butane. Because we really wanted to do a shot where we filled up a balloon with butane and then popped it with a match to get like a massive fireball. And we spent like an hour trying to get it to fill, and it just would not. We wasted so much of it. And then I figured out another way to do it where I actually put the butane in the freezer to make the butane turn to a liquid. Then I was going to fill the balloon with the liquid and then tie it and then wait for it to reheat up to expand into a gas. But then I didn't put enough liquid in, so the balloon only got like that big. And then when we popped it, it put out the flame, didn't go off. So that was like 2 or 3 hours wasted, and it was completely freezing in her garage. I ended up getting really sick the next day from being out in the cold so long. I think you got a little bit sick too.
Both of us got sick, but you had it worse.
Then we had to go back to the store to get more butane, and it was just an all-night thing. And
we about caught some stuff on fire.
Yeah, so I think it was an exciting episode. I really liked it, but it was just difficult and a lot of stuff that just went wrong.
See, I would agree with you that that one was really difficult, and it was either between that one, for me, it was between that one and Viewer Request 1.
Oh, God.
Because
yes.
Both of those times it was freezing, and I hate working in, like, freezing conditions. Yeah. But the Viewer Request 1, we weren't in my garage, there was snow, we were outside in the snow, and I was numb everywhere.
Yeah, we had to go back and forth between standing outside, recording one clip, going back inside because our hands got numb. It was just so cold. And
it wasn't just that. When we were doing the Viewer Request 1, I was like snapping CDs and my hands hurt so bad.
Yeah. So it was, I think that one was a combination of just like uncomfortably cold and just taking so long. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
It would have been fine if it would have been warm.
Definitely those top two were just pretty difficult to do.
What is something weird that has happened off camera or on set?
I think we both know the answer to this one. What happened was, we were sitting on her back porch filming.
You were standing.
Was I?
Yeah, you were standing over by the table, and I was sitting over by...
Okay, clearly she knows more about this. But, I don't know if what were we like... Were we waiting to trigger something, or...?
I think you were getting stuff set up, and I think the camera might have been rolling, but I was...
I'm not sure.
I was sitting... I think it was like the Blender episode.
We weren't like filming for the show, we were like sitting there preparing something.
Yeah, and I was sitting, I'm pretty sure it was a Blender episode, and I was sitting over...
Oh, let's just cut to the chase. What happened was, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden behind us, we hear something just hit the ground.
It sounded like plastic.
It sounded like a plastic, maybe a bottle cap or something, but it hit the ground. It was very distinct and kind of loud, actually. We turned around.
Like, I think at first I turned around, and both of us were surprised, and I was like, did you hear that? Or something.
And and just, there was nothing there, no plastic, nothing, and...
There was nobody around to throw anything either. Like, we were looking around, like,
and actually, we were at the edge of the porch, and behind us was grass. So, I mean, it was just a very strange thing to happen. It was almost like, that was weird.
Yeah, there was nothing. We didn't find any kind of, like, cap or anything.
So, I think we're haunted.
Probably.
That was definitely something weird. The fourth question for both of us is asking, what are each of your roles for HighSpeedFanatics, both on and off camera? Do you want to start, or should I start?
You can start.
Okay. Well, my role, which is probably the most obvious, I basically do the filming. I mean, like, I have the equipment. Grace a lot of times actually like films handheld or whatever. Sometimes I will, but I have the equipment. I do all of the editing. I do most of like the YouTube page managing, like checking comments, stuff like that.
I try to.
Right.
I fall behind.
Or doing the Facebook page or whatever, interacting with, you know, you guys. And Grace, I don't really want to call you.
I'm the assistant, pretty much.
Right. I mean, I
you
guess
probably didn't want to call me that, but I'm the assistant.
Technically Grace would be the assistant. But every now and then I try to make her do something, like, you know, important, like make her talk about something. I don't know. She just doesn't want to talk too much sometimes.
You can explain everything better.
But yeah, I mean, collectively we both come up with ideas for how to film stuff and what to film. So it's not like this is all my idea. Not at all.
We both tried to come up with logos. Like, you came to me with, like, a logo idea, and then I drew out. Like, you kind of sketched it, and then I sketched it out in more detail.
Yeah, she's a much better drawer than I am. Sometimes she just takes care of that creative side of it, making sure it looks pretty.
I'm slowly learning more stuff, though.
Yeah, I keep teaching her stuff every now and then. I think now, because the high-speed camera uses a pretty complicated software, like selecting exposure time, frame rates, triggers, all this stuff, and I think now she's probably at the point where she could do it herself.
Somewhat,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess if you would put it simply, I would be, or get founder, co-founder / assistant. I guess that's the most simple way of putting it.
That's even how it is on Facebook. You're the creator of the page, and I'm
something like that.
Administrator.
Okay, and what's the last question?
What are future plans for HighSpeedFanatics?
Future plans, a lot, actually. See, I don't know how much I should give away.
No, I remember all of our ideas, like,
you know what,
when we first started.
I'm gonna tell you almost all of the ideas because, you know, you're the fans and you gotta know. First thing I think we need is a website.
Yes.
We're gonna eventually.
Let me keep talking.
Not too far away in the future, we're gonna have a website. I may even code it myself because I've done stuff like that. I see what you got. I know what you're gonna talk about. I'm also planning on making DVDs and Blu-rays of the seasons eventually.
We will have bloopers on those. So
right.
If you buy those, you'll...
And the reason to, I guess, justify getting those is because they're going to have a lot of extra content, like behind the scenes, blooper reels, like showing how we actually make the videos, things like that.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of bloopers. You would be surprised of how weird we are off camera.
And also, we're going to eventually, once high-speed people start liking our channel enough, we're going to start making product. HighSpeedFanatics, like this.
HighSpeedFanatics pen. I don't know if you can see it very well.
I'll show a picture of it. But yeah, it's a pen with the HighSpeedFanatics logo on it. Also, behind the camera, we now have a HighSpeedFanatics poster, which you'll see in Season 2, but I'll roll a clip right now to show it. But yeah, we're going to have lots of different merchandise like that, shirts, mugs, you name it, pretty much.
Mouse pads.
Right. Other than that, I guess more equipment, really. I mean, we're kind of low budget, sort of. I mean, I was super lucky to get this camera. I basically worked so much at our local movie theater a couple years ago, and just basically all money I got from that went into buying this. And it was definitely worth it. I love this camera. And so really, us here was just a luck, completely. But we're hoping somehow to get enough money to buy a better camera so we can have 2 angles, and I just want to make it a lot better and make our videos maybe even a little bit shorter and more concise, because I know our videos can be a little bit long. So thanks for watching our Q&A video. We're probably going to do one of these every season. As more and more questions come out, we do more and more things. So thanks for watching this, and keep a lookout for Season 2. And make sure you tell all your friends about HighSpeedFanatics, because the more subscribers we get, the more people can learn, and we like learning. Thanks for watching.